If a female identifies as a male and she's playing against other males in that same division, you can't bitch them on, cry, complain. You have your own division. You get everything that comes along with that division. No different than the men division, no different than the women's division. But you cannot put them into the other division to take away from the athletes that are in those divisions. And you don't want to exclude them and say they can't play. So just like they created men's sports started first, and then they created women's sports. What's the difference?
That's a lot of work, man. So now when I go to the state championship basketball, we had Division 5A men, 5A women, and 5A transgender.
You have Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, NAIA. What's the difference?
That's a big difference, Ryan. That's a huge difference.
Money is it. If it was all about keeping it equal, why have all the divisions anyway? You broke all the other divisions off because of the caliber of the play.
Well, no, we broke all the divisions off because of fairness and access. Like you said, well, money was a part of it because they had more money at the bigger schools. But that's not what we're proposing here today. We're proposing to break it down to a place where it's broken down divisionally because of competitive balance.
Then why, again, we created a male and you created female sports for fairness in competition. If you want to continue that, you have to create their own division to allow them to continue.
We've always had more than two sexes.
I just got a note from Facebook. Apparently Dwayne Wade daughter's son,
daughter
has a boyfriend, and he was a she and she was a he.
And I'm not going to sit here and try to figure out what the hell you're talking about.
Well, he identifies as a girl. I'm sorry. No, that's right. That's right. He identifies as a girl, and the girl identifies as a guy. So now they're dating.
And they all showed up for Easter.
So essentially he's dating a girl, right, and she's but they reversed the roles.
That's right.
I'm so confused. I don't understand living your truth. I'm gonna be honest with y'all today. I'm gonna just be really transparent. I don't understand. It is a catchphrase. It quite honestly, it is maybe the most popular catchphrase that is currently in our society.
Sounds like
I want to live my truth. I want to live out loud and be open. And and those that disagree with it are vilified for their disagreement.
It went from living my best life to living my truth. That's basically what they live my best life. Everybody was so good with it. Now somebody said, well, let's change it from living my best life to living my truth. Or living your truth.
There was a time when biracial marriages were, to say that it was taboo would be an understatement.
Right. It was criminal.
It was absolutely not allowed against the law.
Right.
But there were black people and white people that wanted to live their truths. They wanted to love what they loved.
Okay.
And there are stories of what they had to go through in order to do that.
Very much so.
So
is this that?
Huh?
Is this that?
It's a different time, but it's along the same lines.
Yeah. I guess I don't care about what they want to do. If they want to do it, let them do it. It's on them.
It sounds so cliche. It sounds like it's part of the woke movement. Living the truth. And then we saying, let me keep it 100 truth.
Let me keep it 100. Let me keep it 100.
Don't you keep it 100? Are you telling us lies, or do you have to say this when I'm gonna clarify as truth? I'm gonna tell you this is 100. Now the rest of the stuff, I'm not so sure.
Okay.
I'm living my truth. Lloyd, you living your truth?
I thought I was.
I mean,
Mama Noise, you living your truth?
I thought I was.
Man,
Because you living what you was meant to do.
I don't know. Now I'm confused. I don't know.
see how you tailor made that for that?
He don't like the term living the truth, but
You got tailor make it.
I'm living what I'm supposed to do.
Well, that's what we talked about earlier. That we got to tailor make stuff to make it, accommodating.
I think what you're supposed to do and your truth is two different things. There are a lot of parents that are supposed to be parents, but they're not parents because they're living their truth. So what I'm supposed to do doesn't necessarily line up with my truth. Once you have kids, there are directions you should go as a parent. Some people don't make that transition. They still living
Al is already shaking his head.
So now?
Al was already shaking your head before you ever finished.
They never make that transition to being a parent. They continue to live what they consider to be their truth.
That's right.
So what I'm supposed to do versus my truth doesn't necessarily line up.
But my truth was when I had my kids, I was supposed to raise my kids. My truth was your ass is gonna raise your damn kids. That was my truth.
Al, why would you shake your head?
Because living your truth, you're confusing living their truth with you only live once. That's not the same. They're living their best life, and that's not their truth. Because living your truth is one, being your authentic self, right? Two, understanding your purpose, understanding your value, not seeking validation. So they're living their best life is not the same as living your truth.
See, if living your truth is what you said, I think I could rock with it. I just don't know societally if that's what it is. But if it was what you said, I think I can get on board with that.
What you just said was a euphoric view, a perfect view of how life is supposed to operate. That's not society. People are living their truths regardless of who they hurt.
And I consider that living your best life.
Living your best life is doing what you want regardless of who you hurt. Is that what I heard you say, Ron? Or I'm off?
That's how I look at living. When people say they live their best life, they're doing what they need to do regardless of consequences.
Again,
best life is living to the fullest.
Again, that's what I was going to say. Again, I see that is living their best life, not living their truth.
Not living their truth. Okay, I see what you said, Al. I got you. I'm with you now. So that's the divider for you. If you out here just wilding, you living your best, what you think is your best life, and you don't give a damn what the consequences are. But if you're truly living in your truth, as Al is defining it, then you have understanding of your purpose, why you're here, who you serve, the way you. Okay, so that I can get on board with. I wish it was that way. I just don't know if it is that way.
And I'm not foolish enough to think that it is.
Right.
As Coach say, it's not a utopic view.
Right.
I mean, it wish that it was, but no. I would like to think that my truth is not offensive to somebody else. At least that part of my purpose would be not to be offensive to other people, not to infringe upon their happiness. Because if I'm not seeking validation for mine, then I don't want to be influential in theirs or lack thereof.
Can I ever nakedly be who I am? Or do I have to make adjustments and approve of my own adjustments, obviously? But do I have to make adjustments as to who I really am?
See, that's a loaded question too, because the reality is yes. The answer is yes. You can live however you want to live. You can do whatever it is you want to do, and that is kind of what society is choosing now. I want to do whatever it is I want to do, free from judgment, free from consequence, free from responsibility, and free from characterization. So so the answer to that question is yes. The second part of that question, though, is should you? Should your truth infringe upon societal's norms or lives or whatever?
Where do we get our truths from? Where do we get living our truths
Aha.
from? Where does that come from?
Aha. Now we talking. Where do these truths come from? Where are they built from? Are they built out of religious understanding? Are they built out of pain and protection of oneself from the pains of family historical trauma or whatever the case may be? Where am I building this truth? And can that even be called a truth when it's built on such a structure?
That's the question.
That's the question. I get female A gets raped at 7. Now she hates men. Now she campaigns forward as and champions relationships that are solely lesbian of nature and says all men's a dog. Is she living truth, her truth, or is she projecting her pain onto others?
Boom shakalaka.
See, that's the part of the conversation to me that no one wants to have, which makes the whole simplistic nature of the statement so frustrating. Because you're saying this thing like we all just supposed to get on board like it's the right thing. It's not the right thing. We're allowing people to walk in spaces without accountability. And if we're all unaccountable to one another, that makes this society very dangerous. There's a law going in place in Georgia right now where I think the governor is about to allow people to carry a gun without any type of license, permit, nothing. You ain't got to have nothing. If you want to go buy a gun, go buy a gun. That's how I feel about us when it comes to our feelings.
Don't y'all do that in Texas now?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. I am who I am because of my dysfunctional past that I accept or reject.
You are who you are. You are who you are because of your past. Not everybody's past is dysfunctional.
We are human beings. There is dysfunction in everything that we do. None of us are perfect.
There's not perfection in everything you do.
We might project something different, but even me as a good dad, I got some dysfunctional ass ways. Even you as a great husband, you got some dysfunctional ass ways. I
take offense with dysfunction. I mean, everybody has issues and problems, and nobody's perfect. But it doesn't mean my life was dysfunction, or I had a dysfunctional past.
Well, maybe you have a problem.
I had experiences. I had life lessons. Doesn't mean it's dysfunctional.
But you have a problem with the term. But that's really what it is. We all are products of
our experiences, and our
dysfunction.
life lessons.
Yeah.
You can't say everybody is dysfunctional. We can say folks had problems and issues.
Ron struggles with these definitions, boy. He be.
You know,
We put too much on these damn labels and shit, and that's why we get to the issues that we get to.
well, we have to understand that. I mean, I know people don't like to hear it, but none of us are perfect. We're all broken.
Oh, I never
That's
said
reality.
I never said we wasn't perfect. I never said we didn't have problems.
Broken people do dysfunctional shit. It might not be big dysfunctional shit, but it's dysfunctional shit. I mean, I'm a great dad, but I mean, I fuck up every now and then.
Yeah, you might fuck all the time, but I ain't gonna call you that you're a dysfunctional dad because you had a life lesson that you fucked up on.
No. I'm not saying I'm a dysfunctional dad. I'm just not I'm not a perfect dad. So from that, dysfunction comes. Because we're not perfect, we're going to listen. My daughter, your child, your all's children are going to have a story when they become adults. And I guarantee you their story won't line up exactly the way you want it to line up.
Right.
You're not supposed to.
Everybody has a story. Well, that's a part of the dysfunction. We think we're going one direction. We think we're doing one thing for them. That's not what they want. That's not what they're receiving. And they're going a different direction. That's the dysfunction of the human experience.
That's called life. It's called experiences. Doesn't mean it's dysfunctional.
Okay.
I think some of my problem is that we say, we're not perfect, but yet, in some of the environments and circles that we've been in, we want to portray as if we are.
Right.
And sometimes I feel like it's a cop-out to say, we've all fallen short. Yeah, you say that, but you don't want to hear it. And then when you got somebody that just goes ahead and puts it out there, then it's like, oh, okay, well, we don't want that much truth. We don't want that much transparency. And it's like, okay, I struggle. I struggle because I was always the preacher that would just go ahead and say, this is what we're not saying. And then it's like, okay, make sure she does not get on the microphone.
And that's one side of the spectrum. The other side of the spectrum is what we've been talking about here today, which is there's all these people who say we do make mistakes and we are messed up. But my messed up is normal and it's okay because we can expand the definitions and the boundaries and I don't have to heal. I can just live in this and call myself something else.
Yeah. So I struggle with that because we be quick to say it, I want to look like I have. I think, it's sort of like what we've heard our whole lives is that we as a people have no problem trying to look our best on the exterior, have no problem investing hundreds, thousands, lots of money on the exterior. You don't mind pulling up to, your mama's house in a very expensive car because you don't want to invest in getting your own place. You say, I'd rather buy me a nicer car and then, just live over at mama's house and just keep on driving the very expensive.
But Kenyatta, the reason why what you're saying is I don't want to say wrong. It's not wrong. It's flawed. It's true, but it's the reason why there's a slight twist on it is because the buying is not even the thing anymore. They don't want to have to buy. They just want to live in whatever it is. So if I feel this way inside, then I should be allowed to feel that way. And I shouldn't have to cover it up to make you feel comfortable. So because your scenario, I bought this car to make you feel comfortable. But I shouldn't have to buy that car to make you feel comfortable. They don't even see it as messed up. Like, it's not messed up to be born this way, but then feel like you're this way. That's not messed up anymore. That's just my truth.
Mm-hmm. I watched a movie last night, Into the Wild.
Okay.
For the first time. You guys seen that movie?
No.
No?
I haven't.
What is it?
It's a great flick.
Into the Wild.
It's on Netflix. Great flick.
Okay.
Basically, these parents, these suburban parents, you probably would say, did their best to raise their kids, but their son didn't take to it. He was totally anti-society, totally would not conform to society at all. They wanted to do this for him. They wanted him to get this. They wanted to do this. He wouldn't conform to it. He did finish college just because they made him, go that route. But as soon as he finished, he packed up his bags and he took off on into the wild. He went out to live off the land. And he kept coming across, I shouldn't be telling the whole story.
You can tell it.
You tell it. We probably ain't gonna watch it anyway. We ain't already seen this, so probably ain't gonna watch this. So go ahead. So you ain't gonna.
He kept coming across people in his path. He was determined to make his way to Alaska and live off the land. And he kept going through these different states and coming across these different people that were giving him nuggets of wisdom about what he was doing wrong in his pursuit of his happiness, his true, authentic self. And he kept coming across these different people, but he came across an older gentleman finally, and they kept asking him about his family. Where's your mom, your dad? He was a young 21-year-old, fresh out of college. Where are your parents? And he kept saying, I don't have parents. I'm out here. I'm living my life. He could have said, I'm living my best life if he wanted to. The point is, eventually he got ill and died. But before he died, he used to write all of these different quotes about his being self-sufficient and living on the land and living by himself. But before he died, he wrote out in his book there that the human experience, I'm paraphrasing, but the human experience needs other people in it. That you really can't do this thing by yourself. You can't live your best life or your true authentic self without other people. So my point is, I forgot my point.
You didn't write that down before. You got a pen in your hand.
What you can't do is raise your eyebrows like
well, that. How about this? How about we take the point that we got from what you said? The point that I got from what you said is your truth. You're trying to make us live your truth based on what you want us to be. What we want to. You want to make us receive what you're telling us.
Right.
And see what I got out of it.
Put it out.
I don't see that as an example of living his truth. I see that as an example of pursuit of happiness.
That was a good movie.
His family's wealth did not make him happy. Hence, he gave it all away. All his savings, everything, he gave it all away.
That's why people pursue the living your truth is because they're not living a happy life. They're not happy with where they are.
And see, I think his pursuit of happiness is just a minute piece of seeking his truth. I think that is one of the pieces that fit into the puzzle. Getting to finding your authentic self is only one piece of the puzzle of living your truth.
Right.
Seeking unvalidated internal happiness is one piece of the larger puzzle of living your truth.
So when one goes off to college and suffers for 4 years in college, is that living your truth, or is that doing what's necessary for your future and others that are going to come into your life? So if I'm living my truth and I say, you know what, college ain't for me. And many of us would have loved to have said that.
Right. But
the reality is we did what we had to do in order to prepare a better life for ourselves and our family moving forward. But my truth could have been, hell no. Because you suffer in college. That's the whole truth. We all know we do. You're broke, disgusted, and can't be trusted. studying day in and day out? No, it was easy for you, Albie.
No, but I don't think there was any trust issues. I was broke and disgusted. But I don't think there was
I
any
trust
trust
that. We were
issues.
good. We were fine. Hilarious.
What I took from Cousin's thing was that kid came from a functional family, and then he turned into an asshole. That's what I took from that statement.
His family was dysfunctional.
No. His family was functional. He just became an asshole. That's what I took from your statement.
Okay.
Oh wow. Oh, there's so much more to unpack here. We may have to figure out a way to part two this. But for time,
we having a sex talk on Saturday, the way it feels.
well, I mean, it was a little bit of both. We like sex on this show. I don't know what to tell you.
Mama Noise got a whole lot that she's gonna talk about on that one, boy.
We got to come back to it.
See,
I don't understand the purpose of a woman having an orgasm. I think it's overrated.
Then so is y'all's.
Damn, he just tried to get her riled up before we left.
It worked. It worked. She perked up. She perked all the way up.
Talking about it.
I'm not gonna let him do it, Al.
Yeah, she snagged that worm.
Right. I'm not gonna let him do it, Al. Tomorrow, y'all can go unfiltered and get into it. Apparently, the I still do has been decided. We're talking about what your man wants and what your woman wants. And then I don't know, Dad and the girl, I don't think it's been decided yet. So, or neither is Uncorked Wine. So, we'll get into that tomorrow. But we might revisit this orgasm thing tomorrow on Unfiltered Black Friday.
Nah, you gotta do it on Saturday night. It's like this.
Saying, you trying to act like eyes ain't important.
Al, what is it? You don't want to talk about orgasms?
You gotta do it on a Saturday night, man. That's a Saturday night.
I don't want to talk about orgasm neither. There's no point.
Lies.
I like orgasm personally.
I mean, ours has a point.
I'm a fan.
Doesn't.
I'm a fan of both. I want her to have hers. I want mine.
Mom knows you don't have to eat every worm that drops down in the lake.
Sometimes let that bait go, Mom. Knows let the bait go.
I'm just saying, it's a wonderful thing.
Talking about, I don't feel like it.
And Al, she did not let the bait go.
With that being, hey, I'm gonna help her. I'm gonna help her live her truth. We'll be back tomorrow on Talkin NOIZ.
Yours ain't necessary.
That's Mama Noise. That's Al. That's Cuz. That's Rod. We'll be back tomorrow.
Let your hand be your friend.